So I've just finished The Beetle Boy by M.G. Leonard. This was a book I've had for ages, but I really put off reading it, and I think it was quite a lot to do with the front cover, to be honest. It's not a bad cover, but I must admit it didn't really grab me. Anyway, I've spoken to a few people whose opinions I respect, and they encouraged me to read it, so last week I gave it a good go. It's a book that typically is meant to sit very well with sort of year 4 age group at school, which is the year I teach, so I'm really keen to expand my knowledge and sort of breadth of reading within lower key stage 2, year 3 and 4, so thought I'd give it a read. The book's had a lot of comparisons to Roald Dahl's writing. The word Dahl-esque often comes up. And whilst I saw sort of hints of Roald Dahl in the characters of Humphrey and Pickering, two cousins who bickered and squabbled a lot and often found themselves doing very silly and idiotic things, to be honest with you, beyond that I didn't see too much Roald Dahl. The book focuses on the protagonist himself is Darkus, a young boy who finds that his father has gone missing. His father works in a museum, and his father is a sort of expert on bugs and in particular beetles. Now Darkus's father has gone missing. Darkus has to move to go and live with his uncle Max. He has to go to a new school. Initially there's a bit of a buzz, a police investigation trying to find out what has happened to his father, but a lot of the enthusiasm for that dies down, and we find that Darkus and Max both have to sort of push themselves to try and find out what has happened. Now Uncle Max goes on his own sort of investigation. Darkus finds that he's going to take matters into his own hands. He makes 2 friends at his new school, and they sort of hatch a plan to look a little bit further into the disappearance of his father. Darkus befriends a beetle that he calls Baxter, named after Baxter's soup. And Darkus realises that Baxter is no ordinary beetle. He realises that Baxter can in fact communicate with him in certain ways through sort of nodding, and he can certainly follow instructions, which Darkus finds very exciting indeed. Getting on to the characters of Humphrey and Pickering that I mentioned, these are two cousins that live next door to Darkus, and what we find is Humphrey and Pickering, having inherited a house from a late relative that's passed, they have come into possession, quite an unwanted possession actually, of a mountain of these special beetles. It might appear that Baxter himself isn't the only beetle that can communicate, and we go deeper and deeper into the story. And as we do, we find that it isn't a fluke that we've got these special beetles. They've in fact been sort of tinkered with and created and maybe escaped from the keeping of Lucretiaria or Lucretiaria Cutter. Very hard word to pronounce, and found myself as we were going through it really struggling to get that one out, but essentially a sort of mad scientist lady who had links to Darkus's father at university through the sort of ill-fated Faber project, shows a real interest in these beetles, and we begin to think as the book's going on, could she be connected to the disappearance of Bartholomew Cutter, or Bartholomew, Darkus's father. Now, I won't give too much more away. I would say this book is heavy to read in the sense that it's about 310 pages, and the word spread on the pages is quite heavy, so it is one you do have to stick to, but it's awesome. I think the way it interlinks sort of humour, adventure, crime fighting, friendship, all of those things with some really interesting and well-balanced scientific fact is fantastic. I think the way it gets you thinking about insects and beetles is something I've never thought of before, but I find my knowledge now on beetles is tenfold compared to what it was a week ago. And I think for children this could spark a real interest in wanting to find out more about the environments they live in. I could picture children in my class reading this and then wanting to go and have a rummage in the undergrowth and find out a little bit more, see if they could find any beetles or see if they could see signs of communication with animals. There was talk of DNA, there was talk of experimentation, lots of things that hopefully get children's sort of cogs working and get them thinking about science in a way they may not from other books. So I thought this was really enjoyable. As I say, one I put off for a while, but one I'm really glad I read. Now, there is also a sequel coming up, or already out actually, a sequel already out. So in time I'm going to read that. But that was just a shout out for Beetle Boy by M.G. Leonard. Really hope you enjoyed the review. I've just moved on to The Legend of Podkin One Ear by Kieran Larwood. This is a book that gets so much praise online. It's a book that I ashamedly haven't read until now, so I'm a little bit late on the uptake, but hopefully it's one that I enjoy as much as everyone says I might. So I'll let you know how that one goes. Thank you for watching, and as always, thumbs up if you like the video, it'd be awesome, and even better if you hit subscribe. Thank you.